This is a very late Monday, so maybe this will come out at like Tuesday morning? Who knows? Let's find out. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing the weekly Navel-Gazing thing where I talk about all the books I read last week and all the books I plan to read this week and all the videos I didn't do last week and all the videos I'll maybe do this week. And then it all descends into rambling, as always. So, let's get started and talk about books that I read. It's actually not that many because I was pretty dead last week for all kinds of reasons. I did finish Chaga by Ian MacDonald, and then I did reread some stuff and read some new stuff in my quest for some Mormon studies. So I did reread American Zion by Benjamin Park, which is a pretty solid history of the Mormon movement in general. So I reread that. And then, because things are confusing, I did read a different one that is also called American Zion by Betsy Gain something. I'm really bad with names. Sorry for that. Which is about Clive and Bundy and God and public land. It's about how Mormon ideas kind of tie into the whole Clive and Bundy stuff. I finished that one, and then I reread Watchman on the Tower. The biography of Ezra Taft Benson and the Making of the Mormon Rite, and I finished that one, and I'm currently rereading Mormonism and White Supremacy by Joanna Brooks, because yes, it's all fun and games, isn't it? I also started a reread of Wrestling the Angel by Terrell Givens, which is on Mormon theology. I'll try to finish that one, which is, where we are going now. I'll try to finish that one this week, and I'll also try to finish Feeding the Flock, which is the second part of the Foundations of Mormon Faith by Terrell Givens, and it focuses on the church structure and practice and so forth, whereas Wrestling the Angel focuses on theology. And that's sort of like where the Mormon reading ends. Let's talk about other books that I plan to read, and there is, of course, The Great When by Alan Moore. It came out on the 1st of October, and I kind of completely missed it because it wasn't up for pre-order, and when, October came around, I did not look online, and then I found out that, yes, it is out in audio, and I have it on my phone. I am excited to read it. It will probably happen in the next couple of days to have some fiction stuff going on. And then we'll go and do the thing, by which I mean I'll start and read Elantris by Brandon Sanderson to get started on the whole Cosmere thing, because, I'll, try to get these kind of things going. And then there's, of course, Kirinya by Ian MacDonald, which will be the next book in the Chaga series and in the ongoing Ian MacDonald quest that we are on for now. So that's reading plans. I guess there might be other stuff that will come up or not, but as it stands, that's where I am right now. As for videos, I had two of them. Those were, of course, the video for Polostan by Neil Stevenson and the video for Chaga by Ian MacDonald. And that's it for videos last week. As I said, not that much time, because I spent the weekend visiting friends and doing heavy metal things, which is, why this is so late today, because I just literally walked in the door at like 9 p.m. because I spent this day still at my friend's place and then traveling home by train. So that's why no more videos for last week. This week, there will probably be videos. I hope so, at least. I'll try to get a video out for The Great When by Alan Moore. And I'll definitely start recording the video on, the introduction to Mormonism for fantasy and science fiction readers that I have been working on and researching on, and, all of that stuff. I feel I have the structure mostly figured out at this point. So I'll start recording. I just don't know how long it'll take, so this may be something for this week. This may also be something for next week. We will find out. So definitely The Great When, possibly Kirinya if I get along further, we will find out. Definitely the Elantris video will happen, but it will happen after I have done the Mormonism video, because that's kind of the point, right? To have something to point to and go like, this is where these ideas come from. So while I may read Elantris this week, it will certainly have to wait as a video. Even if I record it already, it will have to wait when it comes to publication before, until the Mormonism video is out. But fear not, it is the end of the month, which means there will be a live stream on Saturday. That live stream will be with a guest, because the last one I did on my own. So this time round, Monthly Marxist Malcontent will be back, and I am super happy to have Britain, also known as Some Okie Dude, on this channel for the first time. I've been guesting on his channel a couple of times, so it's high time to return the favor and have Britain on here, and we'll have a conversation about whatever comes up, possibly Cormac McCarthy, possibly other stuff. I guess we'll find out when it happens. So mark your calendars for Saturday. I'll get the whole thing up very soon, hopefully. You can always, preset the live stream thing, and I'll do that so you can, get reminded that it is out, but that will be on Saturday. That's thoughts for now, for plans this week, and we will see how all of this will go. And as I said, the Mormonism thing, I think it will take a bit of a time, because I want to get it right. I'll try to ask some people that I know that are either Mormon or ex-Mormon or affiliated with Mormonism in some way or form, to do like some pre-watching to tell me if I fuck up massively. So there's a longer production lead on that kind of video in that regard, and I assume it will be at least an hour long. I guess I'll try to keep it short, but you never know with those kind of things. And for me, like the last week was like rereading these kind of things, refreshing my memory on a lot of that stuff, and I think I'm good mostly. I just want to refresh some stuff, as I said, like with the theology and the like church hierarchy, church structure kind of stuff, practices kind of thing, to get that stuff right. The biggest hurdle for me last week was more like figuring out the structure for that kind of video, because there's a number of things intersecting there, right? There is the history of both Mormonism as a broader movement, and obviously the LDS Church in particular, but the history is only one strand, and then there's of course like the theology, or like the different forms of belief that have changed over time in the last 200 years. So there's like what Mormons believed back then, what Mormons believe now, which intersects with obviously the history, but it also intersects with like how the church is organized, who gets to be a priest or who doesn't get to be a priest, how you have stakes, wards, all of that stuff. So I needed to figure out how to interweave these in a way that makes sense, to get everything right, because I try to be as educational as I can in that kind of stuff. So I think I have a model for it worked out, so all that remains is me actually sitting down and recording those videos bit by bit, and then putting them all together, waiting for the whole thing to, be finished, and then hopefully have it out, and then we can move on to the Elantris thing. And that's sort of like the challenge for the next couple of weeks, or well, I guess until the end of the year, is to get all of these projects on the road, because it's last week of October basically, and then it's only like November and December, and I wanted to read, well, Elantris definitely, and Mistborn Era 1 and Mistborn Era 2 and Warbreaker and Stormlight. That's the parts that I've chosen for my Cosmere reading. I don't know if I'll also do some of the short story, like novella, whatever stuff. I guess we'll find out when we get there. But that's a lot of reading, especially if I also want to, read books that I'm interested in, like continue the Ian MacDonald thing, for example, which I definitely want to continue doing, and maybe get that whole thing out of the way until the end of the year as well. Wouldn't that be fine? And there might be other stuff coming out. There's certainly like next week, I think next week is or this week already, maybe. I'm really bad with this. Like, I think maybe tomorrow is when The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne comes out, and that one is definitely worth talking about, even though I suspect I won't like it. I need to finish the trilogy, because I'm that kind of person that really has to finish things before they are satisfied. So that will definitely also happen. I just don't have any Audible credits left at this moment, so it'll have to wait until next month before I can get into The Fury of the Gods, because I just can't afford it right now. Because, as you may know, I'm usually broke. So there's that. That's sort of like, and that's like the thing where suddenly the end of the year comes closer and closer and closer. I'm like, wait, there's all these projects I said I'll do, and suddenly I'm running out of time, is what I'm saying, because I really want to finish the whole Sanderson thing by the end of the year. I really, really, really want to get the fucking conspiracy fiction video out. I've promised it so many times, and I've done so much work on it, so it's only, you know, it has to be done. But luckily, I guess that now that I'm done with all of the traveling, I hope at least, and that there will be not that much more traveling this year. Maybe I can actually, you know, focus, sit down, do some proper reading and recording and stuff again in the way that I wasn't able during the summer, because now I can, you know, just, you know, go back to going to the gym in the morning, listening to audiobooks while working out, then coming back home, recording and so forth, which would be like perfect, right? There's other stuff that I've been thinking about, and I don't know where to go with this, so I'll just like mention it, and we'll see where that is going, because, you know, talking about like projects that I announced and then never did anything about it, or never went the whole distance, I guess, is something I talked about like last year, roughly a year ago, when I talked about like writing in a way. And I did write some stuff on my Patreon, which I probably really, really should not try to reread now, because I think it probably sucks. But the idea of actually trying to figure out if I can write a book is still sort of in my brain, right? I'm like, I want to find out if I can. Not necessarily like a good book, because obviously I'm not a good writer, but I want to see if I can actually write a novel, finish it, and just like to prove it to myself that I can, and then see what I can do afterwards with it, and maybe figure out how all of these things work. But that's like something that like the autumn and winter would probably be perfect for, because now I have time to do these kind of things. And I thought about like, maybe I should do that, and maybe I should find some way of integrating this that into this channel, or maybe I should not integrate it in this channel, because we're obviously talking about books around here, and like reading and stuff. So I don't know if like writing would be part of that, you know what I mean? Even if, you know, it will be a failed sort of like idea, a failed project, and I assume it will fail, because I usually fail at all my projects, or most of them. So that's something that could happen, and I'm wondering what to do with that. Like, do writing sprints. Like, I thought like maybe I can just see if I can pull that off, and like go like every morning, because right now I have like time in the mornings, like get up at like 8 in the morning, or like do like 2 hours of writing in the morning, and maybe do them as sprints, like 2 blocks of like 45 minutes or whatever, something like that. And I thought about like that, but then, I mean, doing sprints or whatever does really, I feel, clutter up like the channel in a lot of ways, unless I, you know, do a live sprint in the morning, which probably would suck for most of you because of time zones and work and all of that stuff, and just like then take down the live stream afterwards, so it, you know, is private and doesn't actually clutter up the image of the channel in a lot of ways. So that's something I've been sort of like toying with in my brain, but it's not actually fully developed in any way, shape, or form. So this is not something that I don't know what I'll do about it. It's more in the like up in the air sort of like area right now. And my thoughts like, can I? Will I? Am I too scared to do that? Probably I'm too scared. I'm really good at scaring myself away from actually doing things. It's one of the reasons why like some videos take so long, is like that I'm just like scared to actually commit. And writing is all about committing, and that's the other part that I struggle with. So I don't know if I'll do that. Also, I don't know if any of you would actually be interested in that, right? I mean, that's like outside of what I usually do. So who knows? And that's kind of where I am right now in this. The summer season is over, festival season, traveling season, all of that stuff is back out there. I've spent the last week, luckily, you know, recuperating some, like sleeping some more, not doing much, and just like honestly getting back from like all the like stress of the last 2-3 weeks with like 2 festivals and a conference and the wedding of my friends and all the traveling, and so I spent time just like recuperating. I feel the energy is coming back, and now I need to figure out what to do with the energy for the next sort of like part of the year, which I guess is autumn and winter in a lot of ways. I don't know, like, if you have ideas about all of that, let me know in the comments. I'll obviously always listen to you, and then probably ignore all your good advice, because I'm really good at ignoring good advice and then taking the worst advice, if I take any advice. So tell me what you think down there. I would love to hear all of that. Also, I'm glad that at least the Chaga video is doing relatively well compared to some of the other Ian MacDonald videos that are not necessarily doing well. So there's that. The Neil Stephenson one did pretty well. I mean, that's like always the danger when you talk about books that are really, really new, like, Polo Town came out like last week for the US and the week before 2 weeks before for Europe. And there's always a chance that like very few people have actually read the book and the kind of videos I make. Obviously, the problem is they're not spoiler-free reviews. They're like trying to do like some analysis and conversation and discussion, which kind of requires to either not care about spoilers or to actually have read the book. And that's always the danger. But on the other hand, you want to have these videos out as quickly as possible, so people that are currently looking and thinking about, a new book are able to get it right now, because the problem is, of course, that with books being this many books coming out all the time, the attention span of like Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, and so forth is incredibly short. And if I talk about a book that comes out this month, if I talk about it like in 2 months, people are already completely over it, because I'm not the kind of booktuber, or my channel is not big enough that I can start trends. You know what I mean? It's like, there's obviously those situations where everyone reads the same book, even if it's like a 30, 40, 50-year-old book, and everyone reads it at the same time, and suddenly those videos will do well, and those things will go brilliantly. But I don't have that kind of pull. I'm too small a channel. I'm too weird a channel, I guess. I have too small and too weird a channel. I'm not the channel. I have the channel, right? So there's that issue here that I'm kind of struggling with, and just as like one of those insights, like I know I've recently talked about the whole idea when I made the video on the dark side of BookTube and whatnot. Just as an example, when you log on the YouTube Studio app, on the dashboard, like on the first screen, it tells you how many watch hours you had in the last month, and it tells you how much ad money you're currently expected to make if things continue the way they are currently going, and all of these numbers, which are obviously there to build up pressure in a lot of ways, to make you do more of the things that YouTube likes, because that will give them more money and possibly you some money as well. And the interesting thing here is that over the last 3 days, that number dropped by 100 watch hours, from like 400 watch hours to like 300 watch hours over the last 3 days. And that's, of course, because like about a month ago, I made those sort of like meta videos on the dark side of BookTube, on those kind of things. And those do really well. They get like a bunch of views compared to some other stuff that I do. And they have just like slipped out of that window. Suddenly the number goes down. And what I'm trying to explain here is that gives, like, builds up that incentive to do the videos that I know will do well, and those are, the more drama side of things, more like meta discussion that might, at least stir some shit somewhere. And I try not to do that, but I think it's important to understand like why so much of BookTube, or like YouTube in general, is tending towards drama, reply, and stuff like that, because there is that incentive. It's like, I know right now, if I make like that kind of video right now, it will probably, get like 100, 200, 300 views, whatever. My views are shit in general, but, it will do that. And that will get those numbers up, and that will make me very happy, and get the adrenaline flowing, and get like all the good things going, and maybe the prospective money I'll make this month on YouTube ads will be more than $7, which, it's ridiculous, because you have to make like $70 before you can actually take that money out of the YouTube, of the AdSense account. So once per year, I get paid $70 by YouTube, which is, nice, I guess. But I just wanted to mention that part to explain those kind of mechanisms that are sort of built in, and that are easy to sort of like overlook, but they work like insidiously on your subconscious in a lot of ways. It was just like interesting to see that just drop over the last 2 days, because you can just like tell, okay, I did like two videos that did really well, and now I'm back in the area where I talk about Ian MacDonald novels that get like 40 views if I'm lucky, and that's where we are right now. So yeah, I don't know, just like some random thoughts that I had today, and we'll see where things go. I'll try to get the Great When video up relatively soon. I wonder if that's a video that will do well. And of course there is, once I get started with the whole Sanderson thing. That'll be interesting, because obviously Brandon Sanderson tends to do well because he's got like a large fan base. On the other hand, I don't know if I'm, the kind of person that will say things about Sanderson that Sanderson fans will appreciate. So yeah, there's those kind of things. Probably if I would take these things seriously, I would try to, then post my videos on like the Sanderson Reddit, subreddit or whatever to get like attention. But I don't have a Reddit account, so that will not happen. And yeah, just some stuff to ponder. Ideally, I'll start working on the Mormon video this week. Possibly it'll be done by Sunday. Probably it'll take until next week. But that will be neat to have that one out and then get like really into these kind of things. So that's kind of where I am right now. I hope you had like a great week. I hope you have a good time. As I said, it's like 9-something p.m. I just came home at like 20 minutes ago at this point, so I hope the rendering and editing will not take too long and it'll be up before I go to sleep. Otherwise, it'll show up tomorrow morning. Who knows? That's just what, how things are at this point. So yeah, I hope you had a good week. Let me know what you did last week. Let me know what you read last week. Let me know what you plan to do this week, and tell me all the other things that you want to tell me down in the comments. And I don't know, like, subscribe, share, do all the good things to me. Join the Patreon if you feel like it. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you very soon. And until then, thanks and cheers.